Hello, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful trading week. Looking at the dollar here on the weekly time frame, you can see that the breakdown, or the breakout, I should say, that I was anticipating back up in that 98 level, did not actually end up occurring, and we saw further weakness absolutely just take place as we broke the trend line support here and ended up breaking below the looks to be the 50 fib level here on our weekly chart. So we have further downside that I'm looking for here down to about that 95 level. We do have a little bit of a gap there that I do believe we should end up hitting at the minimum, and then probably looking at a challenging that 50 fib level again around that 96 level. We'll see which one comes first, whether we end up seeing a little bit of short covering here up into that 96.10 to 20 level, or if we just go ahead and drop or gap down and then pop back up to basically fill that gap and then test that breakdown. So still looking like we're going to see the dollar continue to see push down towards that 38.2 fib level here on 94.17 sooner than later, and it looks to me that this overall uptrend that we've had developing here for the dollar is now seeing a end. So we're going to be continuing to push down in the future all the way down to around 92, and that's where I'll be looking to see if we can actually bounce off that level with significance up into that 94 and back, and to continue this move to the upside. So near term, looking for further weakness, daily time frame view, just to kind of see where we are with things. And again, you can see that that 95.90 is a tough level to crack. That's the 23.6 fib on our daily time frame, so that's another level that I have as a watch. And then additionally around 96.10, another area to really pay attention to. But it does look like we're going to see further push to the downside, and here is that gap that I was referring to around 95. Looks like around 95.17 to 20, and from there we could see that retest of this break of that 23.6 fib. So we'll see exactly how that happens, but near term, looking for around 96.10 to hold up as resistance. Further downside still to around 95, and then below, obviously, as we start trending even lower and lower down to the 38.2 fib on my daily time frame. So let's go ahead and continue moving forward here. Looking at gold. Gold had a phenomenal week on the back of the geopolitical news that's been happening, as well as the weakness in the dollar, rate cut expectations. You name it, you've got it. And again, gold with that Iranian news and the move in the dollar just absolutely ripped to the upside here, hitting a high of looks like around that 1406 area on this particular daily chart. And to be honest with you, here on my platform, I have gold closing at around the 1405, 1406 level. As you can see here, yeah, 1403, sorry, is the level we close at. So the daily view is not reflecting the proper price point at this time. So what I'm paying attention to here near term is whether or not we end up holding this overall trend line that we've been kind of developing here. If we crack above the 1405 level, then we have a nice shot at around 1410 or greater. Still longer term, in line with what I'm seeing with the dollar index, continuing to see weakness, we could end up seeing gold continue to go up into around the 1440 level, and I had to actually revert back to the spot gold chart. That does show that we are continuing to see some further strength developing here for this gold move. So again, once we do go ahead and hold the support around this 1410 level, then that will lead the way for higher gold prices here as she starts on her next leg of the move up, and probably end up being around 1500 before we even know it. So near term again is very crucial. Going to be looking at what the dollar's doing. It's going to be kind of choppy to begin with, but then I believe that we see a nice flow to the upside. So to go back to that hourly time frame view, you can see we do have a nice little trend that's in the making here, a continuation that's trying get above that 1405. Then we can start talking about that retest of 1415, and then so on and so on, as we see continued strength developing for gold and silver as the dollar continues to weaken. So let's go ahead and focus on crude oil, another one that had a fantastic week on the back of the geopolitical tensions that are taking place, as well as a weaker dollar in this instance. And sorry about that, folks. Obviously, the pups are going crazy with the windows open, and they hear their counterparts walking around, and obviously they have to voice their opinion. So that being said, let's continue on here. Crude oil 4-hour time frame. Looks like we're going to see again, if we continue on this little uptrend that we have here and hold support around this 57.45 level, we should see price continue to move to the upside here. And I think that what we're going to be looking at here is near-term resistance 58.40ish. Probably see a little bit of a pullback there, but ultimately I think that we can get up to around 59.60 to maybe even printing a couple 60 prints around 60.22ish, and then probably see a little bit of a pullback here back into around 58.40 as we continue to base, trying to hold a little bit higher for a potential next move back up into around 61.60. So we'll see how it happens. If she ends up holding, then obviously we'll get that squeeze to the upside here, 59.60-ish, possible prints into the 60s, 60.22 area. But I doubt that we hold that at this time. We'll see how that comes to comes to light at that time. But so far, she's looking to kind of rally accordingly into at least the mid-fib area, which is going to be around that 59.50, 59.60 level, have a little bit of resistance at this time, and then we'll possibly extend up into the 60s. We'll see. It does look pretty bullish so far for crude with all the geopolitical tension, so I would say that that is the case, that we do continue to move up higher. That is, in the event that we end up seeing a little bit of a pullback here, watch for support around that 55.70 area, and then probably look at another push to the upside around 57.40-ish, and then again trying for that 59.40, 59.50 zone. Lastly, we'll go ahead and move on to natural gas. Let me just make sure I save this. And here is natural gas on the 4-hour time frame. Here's the annotations that I did from the last video where I was showing the different ranges here with the possible maneuvers here. And again, we ended up breaking down lower, hit a low of around the 2.1, looks like 2.16. Trying to consolidate a little bit here for a potential bounce. Now we do have, obviously some near-term, resistance to really keep an eye on here as far as looking at some trend lines for visualization. We do have a sharp, trend line resistance here as well. So some of the things that I'd be looking for here is just to kind of show another area of range activity, is that level right there off of that bounce candle, as well as the lows here around 2.16. Now, I think that what we're going to end up doing is seeing another retest of this zone sooner than later, and then probably see another bounce back up and start fighting with this resistance around 2.19. In the event that we can get outside of this level, then we can possibly see another retest of that 2.215, 2.22. If we can build support here, then we get further move back up into around 2.23, maybe even a move all the way up into 2.318. But I kind of doubt it at that time. I still think that we're going to be pretty much resisting a little bit more and then trying to really hammer out some of the lows here. We'll see if we break 2.16 and head down into just the low twos, like I have been saying for some time that it's a possibility based on a longer term chart. And so let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. So here we are looking at that monthly time frame view. I mentioned back in 2016, well, not back in 2016, but in the price action back in 2016 around March, we ended up bottoming out around that 1.645 area, and it looks like we are kind of heading back into that general vicinity. We could end up bottoming out around 1.916 here to kind of base a little bit higher. We'll see, but that is definitely a level to keep an eye on here. So we have support at that level there. Sorry about that. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I must have clicked on the icon here, so apologies. And then we have again support around that 2.195, 196 area. So around 2, the low 2s, high 9s as the level that to really watch for some kind of springing action here, or ping pong as I like to call it. So it is going to be quite volatile if we don't bottom right here. Again, even if we do bottom right here, we are still going to be kind of ping-ponging a little bit in the near term, but you can see that still looking for that push, possibly heading all the way back down to 1.63-ish, but I think that the near-term target for at least a decent bottom, bounce, as far as the monthly is concerned, down to around that 1.96 to 2 mark. So let's go back to our hourly time frame view, just so that everybody is kind of aware of what I'm expecting near term. Again, looking at this range action from this candle Probably easier to see it on that 4-hour again. Again, looking at that range between the highs and the lows of this bounce candle, as I'm referring to it. Again, you've seen, the bulls trying to come in here. The bears are still fighting. There's still, obviously some selling pressure in here. So again, retest of that 2.16 possible. If she can break outside of this immediate resistance line, then we can get back into the top end of the range, 2.21. If she can consolidate, then we might get a further squeeze up into 2.28, maybe even extending all the way to 2.322. But again, kind of doubt it at this point in time. So let's see what happens here. Looking at that range, you could either really go either way. If we hold the lows, then obviously we'll try to push to the upside here, break that top end of the range, 2.21, 2.22. Then we can get up into around 2.28 as a pretty decent mark for near-term bounce targets. So hope you all had a wonderful trading week and a great weekend. I am offering a 2-week free trial now, as you probably saw in the beginning of the video, and you'll see it towards the end of this on the outro portion. But I am offering a 2-week free trial now for anybody that is interested in checking out the member benefit services. You can go to thetradersperspective.com, and then you can also send me an email for any additional questions that you might have. Have a wonderful week. Green trades to you all.